She suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human.
I mean, when I listen to Meghan, I am just reminded that there's nothing authentic there.
You're never going to convince anyone that you're authentic.
I'm working so hard. Is she really?
Why does she struggle so much with humanity?
I feel like it's pretty safe to say that Meghan Markle is like a pathological liar.
She can't even act like herself.
And she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur. I can list more fails on both of my hands.
She has done the world premiere episode of actually being on someone else's podcast.
Meghan Markle's appearance on the Jamie Kern Lima Show podcast was billed as her most authentic yet. No makeup, no script, just the Duchess of Sussex bearing her soul, right?
I'm so grateful you're here.
Yes.
It's gonna be fun.
Hi, crew.
You made me cry. Good thing I have no makeup on.
You look so pretty.
I have not done a show with no makeup since my 1,000 QVC shows.
Do you think I have?
I've never seen someone that struggles to just give us one strip of authenticity.
I just feel like at this point, she's gotten a lot of opportunities to tell us something interesting. You're dying to tell us stuff, but none of it has any substance to it.
But the internet's divided. Is this a raw glimpse into her heart or a masterclass in the Meghan Show? Critics argue her tearful moments and carefully curated realness feel like a staged PR move, with social media buzzing that her emotions seem scripted for maximum impact.
Thank you for trusting me with your first ever podcast and with your friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Means a lot, Jamie. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a very accepting person. Truly, I want to like something about her. I'm searching for something to like about her, and it's so hard.
Users on X called it a performance for sympathy, accusing her of orchestrating vulnerability to boost her brand. Some even pointed to her history of polished media moments like her Archetypes podcast, which was slammed as over-rehearsed despite promises of being unfiltered. Is Meghan finally showing the real me, or is this just another calculated act?
You know, she also had to tell us at the Time 100 thing that she's the happiest she's ever been. How many people do you know have to convince you that they're the happiest that they've ever been in their life? This is all just Meghan Markle's stage. We're expected to buy it.
She wants us to believe that she went from being a D-list actress from a show that nobody that I know watched, Suits, okay, to becoming Martha Stewart in 3 years. This is totally authentic.
Meghan opened up about her lifestyle brand as ever and motherhood, sharing that she writes nightly emails to her kids. Reading one letter on air, her voice quivered and she wiped tears laughing. This is why it's nice not to have makeup on. Host Jamie Kern Lima hailed it as raw and soul-filling, but skeptics weren't convinced.
So beautiful.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one.
Sure you were.
Yeah, it's just so great. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Thank you.
The one thing she is dying to sell to us is relatability. The one thing she is dying for more than anything is for us to love her. And she can't get it across the finish line.
The Daily Mail cited royal commentator Alexander Larman, who called the display despicable and pathetic, suggesting Meghan's tears were a desperate bid to stay relevant. On X, users labeled her emotions crocodile tears, pointing to her precise delivery and the convenient absence of makeup as evidence of a rehearsed act. People are saying everything in this interview was forced and staged, especially with how the host Jamie was acting so strange, fake, and robotic. Jamie spent the whole interview praising and loving Meghan.
You know, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
I know you always make it about me. Your husband just shared publicly, I'm so happy for my wife and fully support absolutely everything she's done and continues to do.
When did he say that?
This week. It's everywhere in the press. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's sweet.
Harry, again, find your balls. Wherever they are, find them.
Not everyone's buying the vulnerability. Megyn Kelly labeled Meghan a malignant narcissist who's been milking her royal status for sympathy and clicks since day one. Social media piled on, joking about her vision board starring Prince Harry or tallying how often she says me in speeches. Apparently, she had told people previously that she was going to go after Harry even before she met him.
But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title.
UK outlets like the Daily Telegraph slammed the podcast as queasy and self-obsessed, arguing Meghan's ego overshadows her content. Meghan's podcasting journey began with a splashy $20 million Spotify deal in 2020 to produce uplifting content. The result was Archetypes, a 12-episode series launched in 2022 exploring stereotypes against women, featuring A-listers like Serena Williams and Mariah Carey.
It flopped. It flopped really hard despite Spotify trying to push it, and they realized that these two don't really want to work, okay?
But the shine faded fast. Critics panned it as self-indulgent, with The Independent's Olivia Petter calling it the most self-congratulatory 57 minutes of audio you'll hear all year.
Spotify, I think, ended up canceling the rest of their deal. There was no use. There was no money in it.
What happened to Spotify? The critics were horrible about With Love, Meghan. You sold inventory that you didn't have on asever.com. People are still waiting for their refunds.
Users on X echoed this, with some calling it woke nonsense and Meghan talking about Meghan, while others, like Reddit fans, appreciated its feminist themes but admitted it felt staged. Spotify axed the deal in June 2023.
What was up with the no makeup? That had to be an intentional
That's
move.
another thing. And it's bullshit. She had the hair blown out. It was perfect. I do not believe that she was makeup free there. She didn't have eye makeup on, which is a different thing. But that's her being relatable, Dave.
Yeah,
She's
right.
relatable,
The intentional
you see?
relatable.
Yeah.
Editing all the time-coded notes for season 2 of With Love, Meghan, and then being in edits for the podcast and being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Yes, the work ethic must just be grueling. Writing social media captions, deciding what she's going to wear.
Meghan's barefaced sweatpants look was pitched as a break from royal polish, but skeptics call it a classic PR move. Fans mocked the no-filter branding, suspecting her team crafted that natural glow for maximum relatability. Hard to relate when all you do is talk about how great you are and how great everything you do is.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard and I like working hard and I'm still working hard. The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done.
Yeah.
It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line.
Being one of the most privileged people on the planet, she still won't talk about how hardworking she is, which includes coming up with Instagram captions.
And being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Oh, yeah,
Those
that's
are
right.
all jobs. I mean, I love being that busy, but I do think it's really interesting when people have no sense of what goes into the thing.
Yeah.
It's too much for me. There's only small doses of that podcast I can consume.
The finish line was really the starting line.
That would infuriate me, like, as someone who's trying to start a business, struggling, because, like, you're
Hard
in
to
the
get.
royal family.
Yes.
So to complain about, the business, you don't have to, if you don't want to show up, if you don't want to do the schedule, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Right.
You're living in literally like a fantasy tale of.
Meghan's podcast comments about working hard sparked fresh backlash. She detailed her packed schedule, managing as ever product launches, writing newsletters, planning social media, editing her Netflix show, and balancing roles as a mom, wife, and friend, saying, "I love being that busy," but lamenting that people don't see the effort.
Does she work hard?
Well, according to their tax documents, they work 1 hour a week.
I think you did
It's
very
just too
well
painful.
lasting that long. I mean, it is so. That is enough to make you go to the toilet. I've got to say, it is revolting. That woman is just something else.
It's so hard to keep up with product orders when you sell out. As expected, host Jamie Kern Lima praised her hustle, noting her projects are blossoming, but Meghan Kelly and Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy called her complaints tone deaf, arguing that her royal privilege and resources make her struggles unrelatable. She can't fail, Portnoy said, pointing out that most entrepreneurs don't have her safety net.
I can't have someone marry into the royal family and be like, woe is me, of all these attention or whatever you're getting from being, it's no kidding. It's the royal family.
I can't believe I'm not getting paid for
Yeah,
this.
all this stuff. And then didn't they renounce their royalty, but they still want the royalty?
Kelly doubled down, framing her hard work narrative as part of a calculated victim act. Users on X echoed the sentiment, quoting Meghan's "I work so hard" line for Kelly to skewer.
Talking about how hard it is to be a working mom. Most of the working mothers in America do not have help.
Exactly right, exactly right.
Here today for for such an exciting conversation that I promise you is gonna fill your soul today.
The podcast host, Jamie Kern Lima, didn't escape scrutiny either. Critics, including YouTube commentator The Royal Rogue, called her delivery painfully awkward with a high-pitched cheerleader-like tone that felt as rehearsed as Meghan's tears.
The host.
What's happening with her?
If people didn't know who was who,
The
and
weird,
the expression, yeah, it was between two ferns.
Yeah.
Lima's effusive praise, gushing over Meghan's authenticity and hustle with exaggerated enthusiasm, struck some as forced, like a scripted hype woman in a carefully staged production.
Jamie Lynn talks like this, and what I love are grown women who talk like this, like they just injected some helium and everything's okay, there's that.
Today is an episode of the Jamie Kern Lima Show, unlike any episode we have ever done.
It's like they're both reading from the same PR playbook, one viewer noted, pointing to Lima's tendency to mirror Meghan's emotional cues with over-the-top reactions.
And the interviewer, are you more in love now than ever? Like, I'm sure that Meghan, like, wrote all these questions. And then he's a fox. Like, girl, again, I think you took a time machine back to like 2006.
We're hearing Meghan tell her friend Jamie, or Jamie talk about Meghan, and telling us that Meghan, by wearing a brand of jeans, has gotten women out of human trafficking. Okay.
X-user said Lima's overly enthusiastic vibe made the episode feel more like a performance than a conversation. The consensus? Lima's try-hard sincerity might be as calculated as the Duchess's no makeup glow, leaving listeners cringing at the duo's synchronized show. Or maybe this is just how billionaire women act.
Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title. People were falling at your, people would run your bathwater for you. I mean, I could list the things, the perks, I could list them forever.
Her Netflix show just could not catch a break.
Essentially, the series is about her inviting her friends and famous guests to a beautiful California estate, which is where she cooks and she gardens and she hosts trips. I guess now she's going to be Martha Stewart.
Celebrity chef Jameson Stocks, who's cooked for King Charles, ignited a firestorm by slamming Meghan's Netflix series with love. Meghan as terrible and painful to watch for its sluggish pace and lethargic feel. Stocks, 41, claimed he rejected a Netflix offer to consult on the show, sensing it would be forced and fake.
Let's make a show.
Let's go.
He told the New York Post that Netflix sent a lawyer's letter threatening legal action after his comments, which he dismissed as nonsense. Doubling down, I don't think she can cook. Stocks urged Meghan to return to acting, calling her quite a good actress who should stick to what she does best. Netflix denied the legal threat.
The music in the background. Do you believe in magic? I think I understand why it is she was a D-list actress, because she can't even act like herself.
The critics and reviewers torched the show, calling it a hollow ego trip. Variety called it a Montecito ego trip not worth taking, accusing Meghan of forcing guests to praise her first in a forced march of self-love. The Independent labeled it gormless, pointless, and an exercise in narcissism, mocking moments like Meghan calling a cake she before whispering good night, sweetheart, as it went into the oven.
Who does this appeal to? Oh, her neighbors are about people who could probably afford the ingredients and could have a backyard filled with honeybees. This could appeal to Oprah Winfrey and basically no one else, least of all in the economy that we're all just coming out of.
The Times' Carol Midgley went further, warning viewers expecting a smug, syrupy endurance watch that it was so much worse, while Vulture dubbed it a deranged, bizarro world voyage into the center of nothing. Audience ratings tanked, with a 2.4 out of 10 on IMDb from over 1,500 votes and an 11% viewer score on Rotten Tomatoes, where one user groaned, "This isn't even a fun hate watch. It's just bad."
This is a joke, and I'm tired of some of these media outlets continuing to elevate this person when the reality is she's a grifter. Fake it till you make it. We don't accept that anymore. We want authenticity.
Critics like The Guardian's Stuart Heritage warned it could be the Sussex's last Netflix project. Unfortunately, I can't go through the terrible reviews because we'd be here all day. But basically, people did not buy it. Personally, I don't hate Meghan. I watched the show Suits. I thought it was cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you guys think about her? Is she being authentic or is she trying too hard? It's hard to tell, but she does have a little bit of that Katy Perry in her when she's having interviews. So we don't know what's real and what's not. Let me know, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video.